Hello world, Krista here with Books and Jams, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're rather new to my channel. I'm thrilled to have you here, and I love TBRs. So I'm very excited today to tell you what my March TBR is. I know that there are a lot of people on BookTube who have a really hard time making TBRs because they're mood readers. And while I also feel like I'm a bit of a mood reader, I like to have somewhat of a plan for the month. I think of it more as a guide, but actually for the last couple months, I've been doing really good with my TBRs. So I'm going to show you the books that I'm hoping to read for the month of March. Now I only have 4 books here, but then I also will pick a book from my jar from my BookTuber Recommends, which is a fantastic group of books that were recommended by 12 booktubers whom I love. So I'll be picking that out as well. And I also have another small pile started because I'll be participating in Read-A-Rama later this month. There are challenges for that readathon, and I've already been looking through my books and trying to pick out what I'm gonna read that week. So I have a little pile. So there are only 4 on this list, and let me tell you what they are. First of all, for the Books and Jams read along, which is my Goodreads group, which is growing and I'm super excited. I had, I think, 1 or 2 people read January's book with me, and then about 7 or 8 who read February's book with me. And it's really cool to read a book together with you guys and just hear different people's thoughts. Some people loved the book, some people didn't. In February, we read Burial Rites, and in March, we're going to be reading Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. Now, this book is highly praised on BookTube. I don't know that I've heard anybody who doesn't like it, but I think this is an end of the world, kind of a post-apocalyptic book. I think it starts a little bit before, but also after, but it's also about art and this band of artists and musicians who are experiencing the end of the world together, or post-apocalyptic. I'm not exactly sure, to be honest. Really looking forward to this one. I'm looking forward to reading it together with you. If you're interested in joining our read along, if you've not yet read this book, if it's been sitting on your TBR for ages like it has been for me, I would love for you to join us. So I'm really looking forward to this in the month of March. As I started picking out books for March, I was kind of laughing because they all have something in common. They're all the same color. They're all a little bit orange. So as I picked out my Read-A-Rama books, I'm also picking out orange books because, you know, why not? Once I had the theme. So a book that a lot of people read in February for Diversathon, or was that in January? I wasn't able to get to this book, but I've had it on my shelf for a while, and that is The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. And this is a historical fiction about the Underground Railroad, clearly, but I think in this book the railroad is a physical, actual railroad. I've heard a lot of positive about this, people who read it for Diversathon and before. And I think it's going to be a little bit heavy, but I'm really looking forward to reading this one, as I am with all of them. That's why they're on my TBR. So of course, I'm also interested in reading a book that's going to be a movie later this month, and that is The Circle by Dave Eggers. Now this is a dystopian about this internet company that the question is the invasiveness of this company, I guess. So it's about this girl who gets hired by this internet company, and I guess it's sort of like an expanded Google, where they're just involved with every aspect of your life. I've heard some who've read it already say it's a little bit on the scary side because of the possibility of it really happening, something like this really happening in our world. The movie that's coming out, I saw a trailer for it, and it has Tom Hanks and Emma Watson. So immediately I'm gonna watch the movie because those are 2 of my favorites. And the trailer just made this story sound very interesting to me. So I had picked this up already at a used book sale and didn't really know much about it, but once I saw that trailer, it moved right up to my TBR because I want to read the book before I see the movie. So there we go, another orange book. When I got my Book of the Month Club pick last month, I'm like, oh, how perfect. I'll read this in March because it also has slightly orange. It's a little bit red, but it's an orangey red, and that is Perfect Little World by Kevin Wilson. So if you heard me do my most recent haul, this book was a part of that haul. And this is about a psychological experiment where a group of people are put in kind of their own little community, and they raise, I think, 10 children together as a community, and it's about these kids and how their lives are the same or different, not knowing who their biological parents are. Things don't turn out as planned, I assume, but it just sounds like an interesting read, and so I thought I'd throw it in my March TBR. Before I finish, I would just like to pick a book out of my booktuber recommends jar here and see what else will be added to my TBR this month. So I've got one. Let's see what it is. Oh yes, Homegoing by Gyasi. Gyasi? I've heard people say it different ways. And Jordan from Bookish recommended this book to me. It is extremely hyped on YouTube right now, but I did see it in my library the other day. I don't own it, so I will have to go pick it up. And I'm very excited to read this. So Homegoing, I believe, starts with these two sisters in Africa, and one of them gets sold into slavery and the other marries a slave trader, and it follows the generations from those two original sisters down. So I believe it's almost like a collection of short stories, but it follows the same families. So it does sound very interesting. I've heard tons of talk about how wonderful the writing is and how people really have connected with this story. So I'm really looking forward to it. And Jordan spoke very highly of it. So I'm thrilled to be picking it up in March. I don't think it's orange. I think it's yellow. So it doesn't fit my color scheme, but that's okay. I think there might be orange on the cover. So those are the books that I'll be reading in March. I would love to hear what you're going to be reading. And again, I will have another TBR coming out a little bit later in the month for the books that I hope to read during the Readorama Readathon. And remember to join us for the read along of Station 11 in my Goodreads group. Any of the books that we read, I don't put dates on them, but I divide the topics up by chapters. So you can kind of join in the discussion whenever you get to it. So I will divide it up by chapters again. Join us and read whenever you can, whether it's early in the month or later in the month. I would love to have you join us. All right, so that's it for March TBR. I'll be talking to you soon. Bye.